How did this happen? I think that's the question that is just burning on all our minds, is how does something like this happen?
Well, you know, it shouldn't have happened, you know, if people respected contracts and agreements and the rule of law. But in this particular instance, we had a situation in which we had an agreement between us as partners. But when our partners felt they wanted to go in a particular direction, they threw aside the agreement, stripped us of our shares, and proceeded to do what they wanted to do, including selling shares to third parties. And we went to court. I believe in the rule of law, and I have great faith in the courts. And we went to the court. It took a little while, as you can see, but the Nigerian court, Federal High Court, which is their highest court, ruled that the shares should be given back, and all the decisions that had been taken whilst we were not allowed to participate as shareholders should be set aside.
Well, I just want to read Bharti's statement today. It said that Bharti issued a statement to the media saying that we wish to assure customers, and they're pretty much saying that nothing's going to change much, but then conversely the filing with the appeal court says that if the effect of the judgment is not suspended pending the determination of the applicant's appeal, a number of key corporate actions taken by the applicant will be unraveled, and this will cause the applicant incalculable financial loss. You being a stakeholder, you being in part of all of this, what would that mean for your operations? What would that mean for your company?
Well, if you look at this statement, it's highly contradictory. Because on the one hand, they're telling the public this decision has no impact. Then they rush to court and say, please don't allow Econet to execute on this decision because it will have incalculable harm. So are they misleading the court, or are they misleading their investors? That is an issue we will establish in court. So a hearing has been set for the 16th of February. They are seeking to stop us executing on the judgment. And it will be very interesting to see how they deal with this contradictory position. We are very clear about what the judgment says, which is that every decision which was taken where we as a shareholder were not present is null and void.
What does that mean for you? If the decision as is now is upheld by the courts, what does that mean for you?
What it basically means is that, you know, we first of all, what our lawyers have said to the company is that we're a shareholder. And so we're not going to act in an irresponsible manner. What we want the board to do, and the shareholders, is to first give us all the resolutions that were passed during this period. And we want to sit down with them and go through each resolution. And we will discuss the impact of those resolutions and how those resolutions can be brought into line with the court order. Because otherwise the company is in contempt of court. Now, if that means that someone has been issued shares, I have no dispute with Bharti. I don't know where they came from, so I'm not going to talk about them. But if they have been issued with shares as a result of a resolution which is irregular, they will have to sit down and see how that is corrected.
Talking about that financial loss that they're talking about, would you be willing to negotiate in terms of if they had to then recompensate you, would you then be looking at terms of payment? And that would probably be quite a complicated issue.
Well, I don't usually negotiate in the public arena.
Well, I want to talk about what if the courts then, with this appeal, and if the courts ruled in Bharti's favor, what would that mean for you?
Well, you know, we have pursued this for the last 8 years, and I believe in the rule of law. If you have a situation in which it is possible for someone, a board of directors, to cancel somebody's shares, then the whole investment climate is thrown up into the air. It's sacrosanct to a shareholder that if you are issued shares and hold a share certificate, a board cannot cancel that. Otherwise, capitalism, its very foundations, would be shaken. So I have no doubt in my mind that this is the right decision. It is reasonable, it makes sense, it is the basis on which the whole world of business operates. this decision is good for Africa. It demonstrates that our courts have the courage to go out and enforce agreements, because that's what makes for a good business environment. And really, we should hail Nigeria's courts for this important decision.
Outside of this, I know this is really big for your operations right now. Outside of this, where are you taking Econet?
Well, we have a global presence. So we are active across many African countries. We even have other businesses in Nigeria. We have businesses in the United Kingdom. We are investors in cell phone companies in Latin America. So we continue to explore and develop this technological platform to provide services to as many people as we can. I made the first GSM phone call in Nigeria, if you remember, back in 2001. Who would have believed that today 90 million Nigerians would have a cell phone? So that's where we're going.